Today, for my CAA number 3, I'm going to be discussing the historical timeline of education acts in the United States. I use the textbook Educating English Learners, Language Diversity in the Classroom by Crawford. So the first event I'm going to be talking about is Brown versus Board of Education in 1954. So that was when the Supreme Court outlawed the separate but equal clause in public schools. So that meant that parents of English learners now had a basis for the unequal treatment their children were experiencing in the classroom. They could now argue that the submersion into an English classroom was not allowing their children for an equal opportunity for success. The next event is the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So it included the Title IV statement that prohibits race, sex, and national origin discrimination in government-funded programs, which meant that schools had to change the way they educated EL students. So the government was now responsible for sending funds for the improvement of education for English learners, and the government was also responsible for ensuring that ELs had an equal opportunity for success against the regular English speaker. The next event is the 1964 Bilingual Education Act. So this included the Title VII of Elementary and Secondary Education Act. So it was signed by Lyndon B. Johnson, and it was the government's first commitment to help those students who had limited English skills. It included money for educational programs, the training of teachers, instructional materials, and the encouragement of parental involvement in a child's education. In 1969, there's a Texas law that Texas decriminalized teaching in languages other than English in the classroom. So that meant that bilingual education was now legal. In 1971, Massachusetts passed a law, and Massachusetts was also the first state to require bilingual education for a district with enough LEPs to put it into practical use. So in 1974, the Equal Educational Opportunities Act was enacted. This made the Lau decision part of the United States Code, and the Supreme Court ruled that just providing EL students with the same materials cannot be considered meaningful education. So that means that just putting EL students on the same level as regular English students could not be considered an equal opportunity for success. The next law was the 1974, the court case I'm going to be talking about is Castaneda versus Pickard in 1974. This required that school districts start to take action to overcome any language barriers that might not allow for equal participation for those students in their instructional programs. The programs for the ELPs must be based on a sound educational theory, implemented effectively with adequate resources and personnel, and lastly, after a trial period, it must be evaluated as effective in overcoming language handicaps. In 1975, the Lau remedies was announced by the U.S. Commissioner of Education, Terrell Bell, on August 11th. They were guidelines that showed districts how to identify and evaluate children with limited English skills, what instructional treatments would be appropriate when children were ready for mainstream classrooms, and what professional standards teachers should meet. Timetables were also set up to making these goals possible. The Lau remedies stated that children's rights were being violated if proper bilingual education was not present. In 1977, Rios versus Reed was ruled upon. It was when a federal judge in New York ruled that a school district was violating the rights of ELP students because the district was providing half-hearted bilingual education that contained no bicultural content, but mostly relied on ESL. And lastly, in 1980, the law regulations stated that they required bilingual education where there were at least 25 LEPs that spoke the same language in 2 consecutive grades.